This offseason, word went around that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. gave the Toronto Blue Jays a deadline for them to finalize an extension to make him a Blue Jay for life. And that deadline was him reporting to spring training for the season, his final before he'd be set to hit free agency. Vlad and the Jays did not come to an agreement, so apparently any chance at an extension occurring during the 2025 campaign is now off the table, and the Blue Jays will have to compete with all 29 other teams for Vladdy when he becomes a free agent this November. When asked if the Blue Jays' offer came close to what he was looking for, Vlad simply said,
"Were they close?"
No.
And I think this is terrible for the Jays and their fans. I've talked about it to death. Vlad is an extremely good hitter, one of the best in baseball, and he hasn't even turned 26 yet. Vladdy has become a very disciplined hitter, striking out less than 14% of the time. He hits the ball harder than just about everybody in Major League Baseball, and nobody made better contact at the plate than Vladimir Guerrero Jr. last season. His .321 expected batting average, based on StatCast batted ball data, was the very best in all of the majors last year. No, Vladdy isn't a great glove in the field, and his first base position is historically less valuable than others, but having that bat in your lineup is a serious weapon that I don't think the Blue Jays can very easily replace. Again, I want to reiterate that Toronto missing this self-imposed deadline doesn't mean that they cannot bring back Vlad by a great free agency pitch this offseason, but we've seen in recent years how much free agent open bidding escalates players' price tags. If the Blue Jays' issue for not extending Vlad was money, him going to free agency is going to make it that much tougher for Toronto. The figure that's been talked about in the press has been $400 million plus. That's the money that Vlad Jr. is pushing for in a contract that would lock up a 26-year-old Vladdy that is just now entering his prime. And of course, that is a lot of money. But in today's market, that's really what you expect from a transcendent talent when they hit free agency at such a young age. And let's be clear here, the Blue Jays have the complete capability of giving Vlad this money. Rogers Communications can throw money around with the best of them. Rogers are the owner of the Jays Sportsnet, where games are televised. That is a massive advantage that not even the Dodgers or the Yankees have. The Blue Jays market is enormous, and their household viewership is the highest by a wide margin. That translates to lots of dollars going to the Blue Jays. Not to mention, Toronto will get off a handful of big contracts in the next 2 years, such as George Springer, who is owed $24 million each of the next seasons. That'll free up spending capability to sign a guy like Vlad long term. $450-ish million is a ton of money. And you could absolutely argue that no player, no first baseman, is worth that money. But who cares? In the only sport without a salary cap, Juan Soto is not worth $750 million. But if that money doesn't affect the Mets and Steve Cohen negatively, who cares? And the same applies here. Hell, get creative and defer some money down the road. Doing so will decrease the modern-day value of the contract, sort of trimming the fat on the Jays' overall tax payroll, making it easier to add more talent without going too far over the CBT. The bottom line is this: Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is a tremendous ball player, and I know the Jays will regret it if they let him walk out the door.